So after several comments and messages on other videos, many of you are wanting to know more about High Point, North Carolina. So in this video, that's exactly what we're going to talk about, and we're going to talk about why a lot of people love to live there and why a lot of people might avoid the area as well. So why would anyone want to live in High Point, North Carolina? Well, for one, it's a little smaller than Greensboro or Winston-Salem and a little bit slower pace of life, but it also still offers a lot of amenities for the area. So first of all, High Point is known as the furniture capital. For example, take a look at our drawers. No, not these drawers. These drawers. So every year, or most years when we're not under some kind of plague, High Point is home to the furniture market, which is a worldwide event. People come from all across the world to just little rinky-dink High Point, North Carolina, to buy, sell, and showcase their furniture. Furniture's such a big deal, they got a baseball team named after a piece of furniture, the High Point Rockers. Now, if you live in one of these bigger houses around these areas, now's the time that you can cash in. These furniture market companies and businesses will pay you pretty heftily to rent out or type kind of a Airbnb your properties, your houses, during this time. They'll either put up their clients in them, and they may also want to showcase some of their furniture in your home. It's known in the area for people to get furniture market deals after the market because they're just display pieces for them. I know I've talked to a couple of the furniture people from the area or California that they bought houses in these areas and they hold them year round just for clients to come once a year or twice a year and stay on them, and they can showcase their furniture and style in that house without having to rent out somebody else's house. Plus, being able to put your clients up in a furnished home versus a motel room kind of says a lot about your company and makes you stand out from the crowd. Also, if you're planning to come to the area or visit the area in this time of year, I would try to stay outside of High Point because motel rates and things like that happen to just magically go up during this time of year. So you might want to avoid this area during that time of year anyway. So other than furniture, what is there to do in High Point? So also High Point, North Carolina is home to over 30 parks and recreation sites. There you can bike, paddle, swim, fish, walk, run. Many of these sites have festivals throughout the year of different sorts. Or you can just play on one of the many little playgrounds to your little heart's content. Now, if you want a little bit more adventure, you need to check out Kersey Valley. They have axe throwing. They have high ropes obstacle courses. They have corn mazes. They have some other kinds of mazes. And they have zip lines. And, of course, they're well known in the area for their haunted house or haunted trail, however you want to look at it. Now, if you're more of the theater type person, you need to check out the High Point Community Theater. They always have different kinds of plays going on, and it's well known in the area for people that are into that sort of thing. They're supposed to be pretty good. Not only does High Point have things to do, we also have things to eat or places that you could go drink. A lot of the smaller towns, like Thomasville, for instance, or Lexington, they just don't have a whole lot of selection. And if you're looking for that selection, you always have to go 30 minutes to one of the surrounding towns. So next we have to talk about, where are people living? What are the ideal areas that people are moving to? And what are the areas that people are moving away from? And what are some areas that people believe are good, but they may not be for you? So right now I have a lot of people moving to the area that's from out of state. And two biggest things I've seen that really help them, well, let's say three. First, come to the area early so that you can drive around and see it for yourself. You can't beat that. Number two, good way to eliminate houses or neighborhoods is street view. You see a house you like, it looks great. You look up street view and there's a junk hole here and a junk hole here. You may not want to move to that area. Or you see, something on the street that you don't like or something across the street that you don't like. It can eliminate houses pretty quick. The number three best way that I've found that people can eliminate neighborhoods that's less than desirable is they look up a house that's, let's just say, 200,000. I tell them to drop their criteria because normally they have it between let's say if they're looking for 200, they have it between 150 and 200 or 250. I tell them to drop their search criteria down to 10 to 75,000 and see what kind of homes pop up in that area. Because if there's some houses selling for 30, 40, 50,000, it It may tell you a lot about the neighborhood. Now, High Point is one of these areas that can kind of be a little deceiving. There's a really nice and desirable neighborhood over here, but over here is a whole lot of rentals and investment properties and that type of thing. No offense if you're a renter, that's fine. You do what you got to do. Tell you one big shocker that I think a lot of people coming from out of state don't realize is they think High Point University is well known. A lot of people come from out of state to go there because it is a really nice university and there's a lot of money being poured into that area. But they don't realize what the neighborhoods are like around it. So here we're driving through. This is literally within eyesight, the next street over uh, from High Point University. I can see High Point University as I turn down this neighborhood, and you can see it's abandoned building after abandoned building, abandoned church. I also think that's why High Point University is expanding so quickly is because they can buy up these properties nearby a lot cheaper than they could if they were in a bigger, highly developed area. Also, on a personal note, my wife's grandma used to live not too far from here, but lived in one of these neighborhoods, lived there her whole life. One of those things where it was these mill houses, they worked at the local factories and stuff. And now it's turned into a bunch of rentals. Now, as she lived there for many years, we started seeing the decline of the neighborhood and the nightlife that would come through there and be loud and stuff. And she's trying to sleep, and you hear door slamming and gunshots and all kinds of things. I know one neighbor up the street, you'd see a car pull up, guy would come out, they give a little handshake through the window, guy goes back in the house, comes back out of the house, they give another high five handshake, and then the car drives off. And that would happen several times. Now, I don't know about you, but my buddies just don't come by the house to get a high five and a handshake. Take that with however you want to take it. Also, one night on this street, she heard a bunch of commotion and all this stuff, and turns out there were some gunshots. Well, the guy ended up dying on her front porch. I'm not giving my opinion on this. I'm giving the facts. I can't give you my opinion of neighborhoods, but I can tell you what has happened in them and what I've seen happen in them. Now, if you're an investor, High Point may be a great area to look. There's a lot of cheap houses, and there's a lot of wholesalers that work in High Point too that get the cheap houses. Fix and flips, there's a lot of those going on. If you're interested in a fix and flip or investment rental property, hey, give me a call. So if you are looking for a rental or some type of investment in the High Point area, I got a friend in High Point, and here's some of the returns that he's been seeing. He's bought a couple condos. He likes condos because he can just pay the HOA and not have to worry about anything on the outside and just concentrate on the inside. Yeah, you're paying for it, but it's a little less work, I guess, and worry on his end. So his most recent purchase were these condos here in the High Point Robin Hood Road area, close to the Emerywood area. And he paid like $35 for this one, I think, but it was just studs. It was ripped out and getting ready to be redone where somebody else had rented it, and it needed a little revamp. Now, his best ones in High Point is over by Oak Hollow Mall, and it's off of Geyer. And these are some, I guess they're kind of townhome looking, but they're condos. And he's bought the first one he found on his own for, I believe, $45 or so. About a year later, he asked if I could find him another one similar to it or something, and I helped him acquire this other one right beside of it for, I believe it was around $42. And we've been trying to find some more in that area. If you're watching the video and you own one, hey, give me a call. But he's been renting them out to High Point University students. And because most High Point University students, if they don't have money, their parents do. And it's just outside the ring. When I started doing some research, High Point University students have to stay, if they rent, they have to stay outside of a mile, I believe it is, from the school. Now, keep in mind, this could change. But at the time, that's what it was. And he's renting them for $9 or $9.50 a month, and he only paid $42. Now, yeah, when he bought these, he did a little bit of work to them just to kind of update them and revamp them. And he's thought about selling them, but I was like, you'd be crazy to sell them when you're virtually double. It's no 1% rule there. I said, if anything, you need to sell the ones you just got and buy some more of these. But that's kind of returns he's seeing. in High Point area. And obviously there's some lower income areas too. It purely depends on what type of landlord you want to be. Right now, let's take a look where most people are moving. That's in the 150 to, well, sky's the limit, I guess, but 300s. Now, don't get me wrong. You get around the country clubs, there's some 6, 7s, and millions. But in general, you can get 200-300 in these neighborhoods. So according to uphomes.com, there's these are the best neighborhoods in High Point. Now, they just all happen to kind of surround that Ocala Lake area. And then down here in Emerywood is a little bit divided off from that, but it's also a pretty desirable area. And if you're looking for a unique house, older home that has a lot of character, I recommend you Emerywood. There's a lot of nice houses there. They're older houses, but they've been maintained and or fixed up and flipped. So here we see what some of the average houses look like around the Ocala Lake area. And then you get down here into Emerywood and Emerywood Forest area around Country Club. This is where you see some of the more unique homes. So what are some of the top companies that are employing people in High Point area? Real quick, we're just going to go over the top 5 that, according to Zippa.com, these are the biggest companies in the High Point area that employ the most people. Number 1 on the list is Universal Furniture International. They focus on home furnishings with a dedication to lifestyle and function in the products they manufacture. Number 2 is V-Rush Industries. They focus on office and home furnishings. Number 3 is the Heritage Group. They're a world leader in design, manufacturing, and sourcing of home furnishings. And number 4 is Lexington Furniture Industries. They're also a global leader in design, manufacturing, and sourcing of home furnishings. Can you start to see a trend here? I said furniture was big. What do you want? Number 5 is Advanced Home Care. Now, this one isn't furniture, obviously, but they're a hospital-affiliated company that focus on in-home and out-of-home health care for patients in need. Now, next, we're just going to look at these 4 tips for when you're coming to the area. Keep these in mind. And remember, it's kind of a summary of what we've already talked about. Number 1, street view is your friend when you're looking for a new home or even a place to rent. Number 2, reduce your search criteria when you're looking for a home and look at some of the lower end housing to see what's around some of the houses that you're looking at. Is it a place you really want to live next to that? Number 3 is avoid the furniture market time frame if you're coming to visit, because rates go up and it's just a hectic time to be in High Point. And number 4, and the most important one, call me when you're looking for a home. So listen, guys, I hope you found this informative. And if you've got any comments, please leave them below. Let everybody know your thoughts on High Point, North Carolina, or where you're coming from, why you're considering High Point, North Carolina. And until the next video, I'll see you later.